Right, I know most of you are already rolling your eyes and saying, please, Darren, for the love of God, not another one. But it's got to be done, I'm afraid. So, Prince Harry has said this. He has said that Prince Charles handed down a cycle of genetic pain and suffering. He treated me the way he was treated, the Prince and Duke of Sussex has said. Now, on this, I've got a lot to say. Prince Harry has said that basically his father has passed down, I guess, a really austere way of parenting. And I like to consider myself to be someone that cares about mental health issues. I think for far too long, there's been this really quite harmful mentality of saying, well, if you just keep a stiff upper lip and keep your minds on other things, well, you'll be all right. I think that sort of thinking is a recipe for disaster. And the more we speak about just how prevalent things like male suicide is and find out why that is, I think that's all the better. So you might think, oh, well, Darren, you'll be supportive of Prince Harry's latest efforts during what is Mental Health Awareness Week, when the Prince has once again poured his heart out to I think it's called the Armchair Expert podcast. Now, the name appears to be quite fitting, if you ask me, because with its reference to a chair, Prince Harry seems to have forgotten that there's supposed to be a difference between that in his therapist's office and that in that couch of the world's media. If you consider the way in which Prince Harry opened up and was quite critical of his family on Oprah's show, and now on this Armchair Expert podcast, he has bashed his own dad and Her Majesty the Queen. Harry waxed lyrical about his daddy issues, and I can't help but feel like he's once again showing his complete lack of self-awareness. This is a man, a prince, let's not forget, who grew up in a life of luxury. He went to a top fee-paying school. He threw away every opportunity, it seems, that was handed to him on a silver platter. Now, we British people, I agree, need to talk about mental health, but to hear Prince Harry complain about how he was cut off financially at the age of 36, quote-unquote, maybe at that age it's time to grow up. Do you not think? Maybe at that age, after this latest diatribe identifying Prince Charles as the cause of his mental challenges, it is time to sort of grow up a little bit. Many in this country have issues with their dads, whether that be through alcoholism, abandonment, or just being a bit of an arsehole, frankly. And continuing that theme of being frank, many of them have been put through genuine hell with the financial struggles that come with fatherless homes. Many of those people will be reading the puerile prince's remarks and wondering how he could live a life with such ignorant bliss, genuinely believing that he has lived a sort of mistreated life. And Prince Harry may well have demons that he needs to resolve, and I wish him well in that endeavour, and I really do mean that as well. But when he talks about the mental health of his family, I'd want to ask folks, what about the mental health of Prince Charles? What about the mental health of the grieving grandmother he's left behind? What about the mental health of his brother who also lost his mother? It's of course made much worse when you are openly attacking the parenting skills of the future monarch and, of course, the current monarch, Her Majesty the Queen, who, let's not forget, has just lost her husband. So you might think you'd want to pipe down a little bit here, but Harry's decided he hasn't done quite enough and has chosen to indulge himself in this 90-minute moanathon, no doubt causing more consternation at each of the royal palaces. So the prince suggested that actually Charles would have made a better parent had he experienced better parenting from the Queen. And I can't imagine, I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine that there's any greater an insult for our monarch, a mother, a grandmother, and let's not forget the selfless and devoted matriarch of our nation. And again, I'm not talking about mental health from being a bad thing. I'm talking about all of this coming from the bloke who said he'd left rainy old Blighty behind, charity galas and all the rest here, and the royal family to pursue a more private life, quote unquote, seeking every damn opportunity, it would seem, to do quite the opposite. It just smacks of being a privileged prat when you genuinely don't realise just how good you've had it in life. It screams of being a sort of moaning millennial that can't see your own privilege, despite your royal title, despite your Californian mansion and your riches from Netflix and Spotify, with the financial comfort for he and his family that affords. And of course, that families around the globe would give their right arm for. So, yes, let's talk more about mental health, but still, I think this self-indulgent act that seeks to sabotage an institution that many of us in this nation hold dear will be given precious little support by much of the British public, which does want a better conversation about mental health. Of course, we need to talk about mental health much more than we are, but let's not use it as an excuse to license this pampered prince to get one over on his dutiful family, which have to suffer in silence. That's my view, folks. Let us know what you think in the comment section. I'm Darren Grimes for Reasoned UK. Reasoned relies upon grassroots donations from people like yourself that want us to continue producing our high quality, free thinking content. So please do consider clicking the link and donating, no matter how big, no matter how small, because it really does ensure that we can keep on keeping on.